Hey everybody, my name is Hawk Nightwing, and welcome back to the channel, I guess. Today's video is rather impromptu, but I felt like it was important to make in the midst of all this chaos, drama, if you want to call it that. I'm here to speak up about a lot of things. One, my own mental health, and most importantly, why I left the G5 Revival Project, what my true reasonings were, and responding to some allegations made about it. I want this video to clear the air and set the record straight on this whole situation. You guys don't have to believe me if you don't want to. You can call me dishonest, say I'm not telling the truth and that I'm hiding something or that I'm hiding under lies or whatever else you want to call it. I'm not going to be around to find out. I'm not scripting this because this is rather rushed. I wanted to take the time, properly vet my response to the Revival's administrators to make sure everything is amicable, everything is fine, but I can't really do that anymore, can I? I have to kind of rush this out and just clear the air once and for all before things get worse, even though I know they most likely still will be. So, where to start? Well, I guess I should start all the way back when Tired Tail was first cancelled. Back in September, October, I guess. The rumors have been floating around for a while. I was riding the high of Turtle Season 2 being like the best thing ever and my channel achieving rapid growth. I was really happy and I was putting my best effort out there. And I felt like my videos actually mattered. I felt like I was actually making a difference. The difference I always wanted to. The key thing is when I joined this fandom, I joined with high aspirations from the very beginning. I've always wanted to start my own pony channel. I've always wanted to make connections, put myself out there. And I finally got to do that with the Hawk Nightwing channel. And growing this community, growing all this, it was so special for me. People love my stories, people love my videos. It was a dream come true. I was living the dream life. But it didn't last forever. Around in September, rumors started floating around that G5 was dead. Taruto was cancelled. And I was in denial for a while. I put out a video saying that it can't be true. There's no way this is true. Remember the AI incident? It can't possibly be true. This is another false rumor. But in the end, it was true. And the show was pulled. Hasbro didn't say anything until the very last minute. And they let us all think they were confident in G5. They let us all make videos about it. They let us all promote it, even though they refused to. And I'll be honest, when the cancellation actually happened, I slumped into a very deep, dark depression. I had been in dark places before in my life, but this was on a whole nother level. I felt personally slighted. I felt personally betrayed. Because I had invested time and effort making stories, making videos, thinking that they actually mattered, thinking I was contributing something to the global conversation, that I was actually making a difference, that I was actually uplifting people and making a difference in their lives. But turns out all I did was burn bridges for no reason. And I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how to take my whole life falling apart. My life was practically G5. My life was practically tied to this generation. I felt like I had let you all down. I felt like I didn't do enough, that I should have done more, that I should have done a lot more. I should have been better. I wanted so badly to slip back into that fantasy. I wanted so badly to slip back into the mindset that what I did mattered, because without the validation that I was doing something, without the validation that I was making a difference in people's lives, I wasn't sure who I was without that. By that point, uplifting fellow fans and looking out for them had practically become my identity. And my videos were meant to uplift people. They were meant to empower them. They were meant to make them feel like their voices could be heard, that they could be represented, and that they could feel strong in their opinions, that they had someone looking out for them, supporting them. That's what my videos were for. That was the intention of them. I, and to an extent the Hawk Nightwing character, the persona, had essentially become a symbol of hope for people. A symbol for them to look up to and come to for validation, if that makes sense. See, I'm the sort of person who likes external validation from others, likes getting it. So I guess I sort of projected that onto my videos, onto my content. My channel would be the place for me to get validation from others, and in turn, people would get validation from me. It was an unhealthy cycle, but it made people feel heard, made people feel seen. So, as long as G5 was going, and as long as Teruto was going, and everything was going smoothly, I felt that that's all that mattered. It didn't matter, like, what drama I'd get into, it didn't matter what bridges I burned or anything like that. As long as I was making a difference, that's all that mattered. The cause this, the cause that, what I was doing. As long as I was helping people, just one person, just uplifting one single person, that's all that mattered. And, well, when I learned that none of it mattered, that I was essentially running a wild goose chase for a corporation who had already given up on their own show, I'm gonna be honest, it broke me. It really, really broke me. Words can't even describe how I felt. The slump I was in for months on end. Didn't help that around that same time, I had made a massive mistake with another person in the community. I'd rather not go into it because that's private stuff, but I had made a massive mistake that I still feel the effects of to this day. In my grief, I had burned a bridge, and I was stubborn about it. I didn't listen, and that cost me a lot. I think that the moment G5 was confirmed to be over, that was the beginning of my mental decline. Because my entire perception of the world, my entire optimistic worldview had been shattered completely. I was at my lowest point ever. I felt like nothing mattered. I felt like nothing could ever be right again. And that I was someone who made a fool of himself for no reason. And I had felt like I had let everyone down. And as I was trying to process my own grief, I witnessed the grief of others. I witnessed all my fans breaking down when the news broke. I witnessed them panicking, crying, and looking to me for answers. And I didn't have any answers. I was blindsided too. Hasbro had done this to all of us. I didn't have any answers, yet I wanted so desperately to give them. Tell people that things would be okay, that we'll get through this. And, well, I didn't have anything left to give. I didn't have anything to uplift anyone with, and that terrified me. The fact that I was just as blindsided as everyone else was, that I didn't know what to do, or even how to process it, or even how to guide my own fans through all this. Because I felt a close relationship to my fans. That's the important thing. I felt close to all of you. And, well, I felt like that if I didn't have the answers, I was letting you guys down. So, in a desperate bid to have the answers, in a desperate bid to give you guys the hope I wish I had, well, you can say I made a deal with the devil. So, in my grief, I made a last-minute decision, and I chose to take it upon myself to revive G5, revive Tired Tail, all on my own. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a team ready. I didn't have any of that. All I had was the dream and one person who believed in me. And eventually I did build a team. Eventually I did build it, but I had zero experience. One day I wanted to make my own fan project, but I was thinking I'd be able to properly gain experience through joining projects and gaining the proper experience necessary to make my own. But that was a decision I made completely in my grief. Without thinking, without anything. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew what I wanted to make. A fully animated revival, very ambitious, to slight Hasbro and to bring justice to the whole generation.
And I don't want to demean my experience there. I don't want to demean it at all. I definitely feel like I had a lot of great memories there. I made a lot of friends, or people I thought were friends. The fun of doing table reads and imagining how our episodes would look once come to life. By that point, the leaks hadn't come out, or at least we weren't using them. So we had our completely separate slate that we were planning out, and it was just this fun experience writing episodes of Gnosis and seeing how they would all imagining how they would all look when they were finally completed. We even had some artwork made for our own special too. Heck, Smoke the Horse Hog and I even collaborated on a script, kinda. A half completed script, but it's still a script. It was great. But what most people don't know is that all through that time, I was still struggling. I had good memories, but I was still struggling with my own emotions and my own mental state. Yes, the project was a lot of fun, but at the same time, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of pressure. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Being the director of the project was so stressful. It's an experience I don't ever want to repeat again, but it was something that cost me a lot mentally.
In all honesty, I felt like my reputation had barely anything to do with it. Like, I know there's the misconception that I only did it to protect myself and my reputation, make myself look good. And let's be honest here. If I only did this to protect me, protect my own reputation, I would have given up a long time ago. Cause let me tell you, it's not what I've been through. It's not worth it. It's not. If you're just doing it for yourself, it's just genuinely not worth it. I did this. I did do this for the fans, because I wanted to bring closure to them, and I wanted to make it up to them for not doing enough, not being better in their eyes. People always demanded a lot of me, and I wanted to meet those expectations so badly. I wanted to feel like I was doing right by them.
And also because I felt a sense of guilt for my old videos, for how controversial they were and how inflammatory they were, how they pushed people away. I thought that those early inflammatory videos had personally contributed to G5's end. It's stupid, I know, it's a stupid mindset, but in my sick headspace, I believe that I was personally responsible for ending G5 because Hasbro somehow saw how inflammatory and divisive my videos were and decided to pull the plug. It's stupid mindset, like I said, but I did believe it then. So I felt like it was personally up to me to make it right. And I'm going to be honest here too, a bit of ego played into that. It wasn't the main reason, but it was also part of it. I will admit it. I felt like I had to do it because, well, here I was, the G5 defender, the savior of G5. I had given fans hope all over again. And so I was going to do what Hasbro could never do and actually finish this generation and give it a proper ending no matter what. I know these characters. I love these characters. I made all these stories about Misty and Sunny to an extent. I can do this. I put that pressure on myself when I didn't need to. And, well...
So I dedicated myself to this project for about 8 months or so. We pivoted to an audio drama in January because full animation required too much resources. It was meant to be an art-based animatic sort of thing, clean animatic. That's what the episodes were supposed to be. Basically, fully drawn in color art. Like, basically the Petal Gala, but with all the frames colored, if you know what I mean. But throughout the whole process, I had kept facing roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, course correction after course correction. And throughout all this, fans kept demanding answers out of me. When's it coming out? What's happening here? What's going on here? And I just felt pressured to answer every single question. I felt pressured to be basically this project's James Gunn, interacting with fans and debunking rumors and clarifying things when I didn't even know what I was doing myself. It was a lot of pressure, and then having to lead a whole team on top of that. and feeling like I wasn't doing enough, that all these people were experienced, and here I was, an inexperienced director, trying to wrangle all this together. It was hard, and it contributed a lot to my anxiety and stress. I had met a ton of people on the project, people who I valued a lot, but the project, it was so much stress, and I felt like I couldn't be honest to myself just how much it was affecting me, just how ashamed I would feel if I let them down, let everyone down. So I continued on. I let the pressure get to me. I told myself, it doesn't matter how I feel. What matters is the end result. I'm going to do this, and it doesn't matter what cost there is to myself. I'm going to bring closer to the fandom. I'm going to make it right. I'm going to do this no matter what it takes. So the pressure kept building, and my mental health kept deteriorating by the day. I would force myself every day to log onto the server, see how things are going, and even if I didn't interact with people, I would see how things are going, and sometimes I would slip. Sometimes sometimes for months or something, I wouldn't get anything done because I didn't feel the motivation. But eventually, I would push myself enough to try and make it right. And all throughout all this, we barely got anywhere. Despite everything I tried, despite all that, we barely got anywhere as a project under my leadership. We didn't even know our own release schedule. We didn't know a lot of things, and yet I still tried to act like there was a plan. I still tried to act like, oh, this is the plan. I'm working towards this plan, and there's a plan Z and a plan alpha or a plan beta. I tried so hard to act like I was in control because in my mind I had to be. I was in charge of this. This was my project. I had to be in charge, or else I had nothing.
I was so scared of losing control of this thing that I had built when I clearly wasn't built for it. I was so scared of letting people down, of screwing up, that the fear of screwing up led me to screw up. Constantly. It led me to screw up a whole lot. It led to a lack of trust between people and me, and it just caused things to deteriorate further. And all through that time, my anxiety would spike, then I'd be fine, then it would spike again. In every situation, my mental health deteriorated more and more, to the point where I couldn't handle stuff anymore. I just couldn't, yet I still wanted to. I still desperately wanted to, so badly, yet I just couldn't. I had gone from someone who would be calm in situations, were like, hey, I can handle this, no problem, to just crying over the mere thought of things actually going wrong. I didn't recognize the person I had become, yet I still pushed forward because I had to. I really felt like I had to. I had to step up. I had to be better and actually be a leader to these people when I had no idea how to. These people were just so much more experienced than I was, and I didn't know anything. Yet here I was expected to wrangle the whole thing together and bring everything together in a cohesive vision. I think the reason why things took so long to actually get made was because, well, I didn't know how the end product would get made. All I knew is what I wanted to make, and that's it. And that's not really good combo. As a director, you're supposed to know the vision, you're supposed to know how to execute that vision, and, well, I filled one category but not the other. So you can imagine how problematic things became with that. And eventually, well, I'm only human, and the human brain can only take so much. Around in May, I experienced a personal tragedy. A really, really terrible one. It was something that really affected me mentally and emotionally, and it completely wrecked me. I'm not going to go into details about the context or what happened behind that. As far as I'm concerned, that's private stuff. My life was just completely upended out of the blue. And I knew that I hadn't done enough. I hadn't done what I should have.
And I let the stress get to this point. I let the stress and anxiety associated with the project affect my personal life in a way that I never should have. And that's on me. That's entirely my fault. And there was no going back from that. And I began to resent the project. I began to resent it, hate it with a burning passion. It wasn't just apathy anymore. I hated it. I would look at it with disgust. My brain would refuse to do anything related to it because why does this project matter? Why should I let this project destroy my life? Why should I let it affect me, my friends, my personal relationships, all that? Why should I let this project destroy me from the inside out? But I felt trapped in it. Not only because you guys would tear me to pieces if I ever canceled it, but also for a lot of other confidential reasons I can't really get into. But it was around that point where I just lost all passion for the project and I felt trapped. I couldn't escape it. Every time I tried to escape it, I would see comments like, when's the revival coming out? When's this? When's that? And I just didn't want to deal with it. I was dealing with my own personal stuff, and here were all these comments demanding more out of the project I hated by that point. And, well, you know how it ultimately ended. By now, you know that on the 23rd, I chose to step away from the project. But not just that, I ended up going so far as to nearly threaten to nuke the entire server. This is true, and this is something I have to take accountability for. On that day, my mental state completely snapped. All the pressure, all the anxiety, all the hurt that was building up within me, it all just came out that day. I couldn't keep anything in. All the things I tried to keep in to be professional, it just came spilling out. And I wanted to delete the whole thing. I wanted to save everyone from the project. I know this sounds stupid. You're gonna think it's an excuse, but this is real. I was so disillusioned with the project by that point that I felt like I had to save everyone else from it. I had to save them from becoming like me. I had to save them from getting hurt themselves, from becoming jaded, from feeling like their time has been wasted. I felt like I was wasting everyone's time. I felt like we were getting nowhere, and that eventually the project would collapse and be all my fault. So instead of turning over ownership immediately like I should have, I wanted to delete the entire thing so that I wouldn't be able to look at the project and see my own failure. See the failure of something that once started out with great ideas and great ambition only to completely fall apart at the seams. And with this knowledge, the question I guess becomes, why did you do that? Why didn't you think of the people when you were doing that? You were threatening to nuke their entire work. Why would you do that when you got all these people to work for you and you all of a sudden want to nuke it out of the blue? And that's a valid question, actually. It is. I feel like I made it about me that day. I feel like I wasn't thinking clearly, that my mental state had completely evaporated, and that I was reacting out of fear. I was reacting with so much fear that I couldn't think straight. All I could see was the culmination of my own failures up to that point, and I didn't realize just how much people actually cared for it. People protested in the server. People wanted the project to continue. And, well, I was surprised to see that. I was surprised to see people still cared about it. I was surprised to see people still wanted to continue with it. Because I had assumed that everyone was just as fed up as I was. I assumed that people wanted to back out. So when I did that, and I thought I was saving them, I didn't realize just how much the project still meant to people, how much I actually inspired them to continue. And that was a wake-up call for me. It really was. It wasn't enough to get me to not delete it. I'll get into that in a bit. But I was surprised to see just the outpouring of support. people still had for this thing. I felt like the project could never go anywhere, so to see people still wanted to make something out of it, it did warm my heart a bit. It did warm the heart that had grown so cold by that point. But the point is, I never should have done that. Should have, I should have actually thought straight before resorting to something like that, because nuking everyone's work without the chance of archiving is incredibly wrong. Especially when it comes to fan productions, you don't do that. Like, yeah, projects get canceled, but you should at least give people time to archive their work. I didn't do that. I was considering it, but I really wanted to just delete the whole thing shortly, like within 24 hours or whatever, because I was just eager to get rid of it, set myself free. I felt like, hey, I had done all these things for people. I deserve to be selfish at least once. Can't I just be selfish just this once? Can't I just live finally? It was incredibly self-centered, and I regret it. Like I said, I made the project all about me when it wasn't. And people actually wanted to continue working on it. Ultimately, the problem was never with the project itself. The problem was the leadership. My leadership. And the fact that I couldn't live up to the expectations that people set for me. And that's hard for me to come to terms with, but it's something that's true. I was the only thing holding this project back. The problem wasn't with the administrators, the other directors, anything like that. They all did the best they could with the directions they were given. It was ultimately on me to guide them. And I couldn't. I ultimately couldn't find it within myself to be the leader that they deserved. The leader that you all deserved. And maybe I was never ready to be that. Maybe I should have gone with my original plan and just joined fan projects, gained the right experience before ever trying something like this. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have reacted out of grief and made everything all about me. In fact, that's actually completely true. I should not have made it all about me, but I did. And me nearly nuking the server was me making it all about me. My mistakes, my everything. Instead of thinking about the people who still wanted to work on it. Instead of owning up to everything, I just made things worse. And I hope that with the more competent direction, with more experienced people at the helm, this project can actually go somewhere. Because like I said, the problem was never with them, it was with me. The project has a good chance at a restart now, and I hope it's able to take it. But ultimately I have to accept that what I did still happened. And what I did was entirely my fault, and my fault alone. It was selfish, and it was horrible. I essentially became another Chris Cox. I nearly nuked everyone's work and screwed everyone over. And that was horrible. It was. Had I been thinking clearly, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I felt like the project was hitting a dead end. I felt like it was destined for failure anyway. I just didn't think the project had a future anymore. So I acted on my instincts and decided, that's it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I have to save everyone before they become like me. Before they fall into the same fate. And, well, the project's not dead. Someone did manage to convince me not to delete it. And the project still exists. I'm happy to be free from it. I'm going to be honest. I'm happy I'm gone from it. Because instead of helping me process my grief over G5's cancellation like I thought I was going to, it only served to make it worse. It only served to trap me in perpetual arrested development. I couldn't grow. I couldn't evolve as a person. All I was focused on was the project and maintaining that fantasy that what I did mattered to anyone. And now that it's gone, I'm free, but at what cost? Maybe it would have been better if I stayed on. Maybe I could have taken charge and actually become the leader you all wanted me to be. I would have been unhappy, but at least I wouldn't be involved in drama, right? I don't know. Ultimately, I'm glad to be gone, but I'm wondering if the cost was even worth it. Of course, I can't solely blame everyone else for what happened. This is still on me as well. This is on me for not taking proper care of my mental health when I needed to and not realizing when I needed to stop. Maybe things didn't have to be so messy, but should have, could have, would have don't solve anything. This video is not going to solve anything. No matter what I do, it won't solve anything. No matter what I say, it won't solve anything. It's much more fascinating of a story, isn't it? To paint me as the bad guy, paint me as someone hiding behind lies when you don't know the full story. It's easier to hate what you don't understand.
Could I have handled my exit a lot better? Yes, absolutely. Even saying that is an understatement. But trying to paint me as intentionally trying to cover up something to protect myself, that's not true. And I'm pretty sure the people who made those posts know that's not true. Because what would I have to hide? What would I have to hide in doing any of this? The reason why I vaguely worded the post the way I did was because I wanted everyone to come out looking good. I wanted the transfer of power to come off as peacefully as possible, and I wanted the focus to be on the future of the project, not my exit. Because, well, I'm just one part of the whole revival effort, this whole community-wide campaign. And I didn't want the focus to be on my whole mental break. Not only because, well, it's extremely hard for me to share stuff like this. It's taking me everything just to put this all in the video. But also because, well, I spent too long making the project about me. I wanted to finally actually put the focus on the people for once. Like, yeah, I had to say I was exiting, but I didn't want to go into details about that. That way, so everyone looks good, that everything just seems normal, like a part of the operation, and that people don't worry too much. Because the truth is, as you've seen, my exit was messy. It was incredibly messy. Very, very messy. And I didn't want the focus of all the comment sections to be on my mental health. I do appreciate all the concern and all that, but when I made those posts, I just wanted the focus to be on what's next for the project. Like, now that I'm out, the project has a fresh start. Let's celebrate, like, hey, I accomplished this, but now the project has better leadership and it's in capable hands now. That's what I wanted to focus on, because ultimately, the future of the project matters more to me than my own feelings. I know that sounds incredibly ironic considering what I almost did, and don't worry, I definitely noticed the irony right there. But the truth is, after I had just nearly wrecked everyone's work, do you really think I was going to make it about myself and why I left the project and all that? I wanted the focus to be on, okay, there's fresh blood now. There's experienced people running it. I wanted the stain of my mistake to finally come off, and I didn't want the project to be defined by my own problems. In my eyes, I left the project, but I was on good terms with the Revival's new administrators, and I wanted that to be the focus, and I wanted the focus to be on healing. The project's healing, my healing, all that. That's why the posts were so vaguely worded. And also, the third post, the one about, oh, it's sad news, every point I will not be distributing it, I based the wording of that off of Henry Cavill not returning as Superman, the Instagram post. So no, I wasn't trying to throw a pity party by saying, oh, it's sad news, I'll not be distributing the revival, drawing pity to myself. Now, I decided to vaguely reference something because, well, I wanted to make the post creative. It's dumb, but, whatever, I like my references.
I know this video is not going to solve anything. It's not going to make the drama go away. So you might be asking, why am I making it? Well, even though I don't agree with Stanley bringing the drama public, I still feel that he's right. I should take full accountability for what happened in order to close this chapter of my life for good. I can't hide behind PR statements. I can't hide behind carefully vetted posts. I have to come clean and explain my side of the story. And if people believe it, they believe it. They don't, they don't. Things are going to get worse before they get better. I can already foresee it. So, what happens now? Well, this leads me to a realization about my whole channel. I've realized that in the process of recording this video, that I wasn't truly happy making these videos on the channel. These videos weren't me. These videos were for other people. These are what people demanded of me. I became a faceless symbol for them, an object for them to use, a hero to be put on a pedestal, when that's not what I wanted. I became a leader because I had to be. I made these defense videos because I felt no one else was standing up for G5. When I joined the LP fandom, when I first officially joined it, I think many years ago, I wanted to belong here. I wanted to feel like I had a place here, that I could build meaningful relationships and carry forward into the future, build something successful, something that I believed in. I grew up on the brony fandom of the 2010s, and I grew up on all these stories of bronies finding other bronies, getting into relationships and living happily and finding their perfect life through like-minded people. And I wanted a taste of that too. But I've realized that that's just not on the cards for me. Not here. I was always too insecure to really believe in my own vision. My fear of screwing up caused me to screw up. I was under too much pressure by fans of mine who couldn't be told no. And as much as I tried to deny it, I was stuck being whatever people wanted me to be. It wasn't always this way. I used to make videos for me. They were stupid, they were lighthearted videos, they were silly videos, but I made them without worrying about an audience. I made them without worrying about anything like that. I used to be happy. Truly happy. 5 years ago, when I made my first channel, I was happy. Yeah, I faced a lot of cyberbullying in the Star Wars fandom, but at least I still had my silly storylines and arena wars and all that kind of thing. How my fan made shows. At least I made videos for me. At the end of all this, this is just the result of me pushing myself too hard, trying to chase a life that's just not for me. I'm making this video so that I can finally clear the air and bring this chapter of my life to a close. There's a possibility I might come back at some point, maybe once all this drama is blown over, but right now I've just been disillusioned from everything. The G5 community, the LMP fandom at large. This is just not worth it for me. All I see are the mistakes I made and the people I've hurt while making those mistakes. And I have to leave this channel that I've built, the channel I was so proud of growing, the channel that even though I felt pressured, it still meant a lot to me. This is the first channel that's ever crossed 1,000 subscribers, and I was so close to crossing the 2,000 subscriber mark. I wanted to actually make money here on YouTube. I wanted to actually make this an online career. But who's to say I can't find it through other avenues? I have unfinished business here, like the Passion Defense series, but the best thing for me right now is to tend to my own mental health and try and go back to the days where I was happy making videos, where I wasn't pressured all the time. I've made a lot of mistakes here. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've burned a lot of bridges. I've burnt through so many people who could have been friends, or people who were friends but now are no longer. And I just can't do this anymore. I genuinely can't. Especially since this drama isn't going to end. It's just gonna keep getting worse. Because I couldn't control my own mental health. I couldn't take responsibility for it sooner. I couldn't be a better leader. And now, all this is happening.
I don't know what the future holds for me. I hope to take the friends that I have left to whatever comes next and cherish the time I have with them. But in the meantime, I hope to find peace. I ask for the people who still hate me, people who still want to continue this drama on me, to just leave me alone. But I know that's not going to happen. So all I can do is try and get away. To the people who were on the project or are still on the project, because I know some of you cross over into my audience and still watch me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't take responsibility for my own life while I still could. I'm sorry things had to end like this. I'm sorry things had to be so messy, and I'm sorry that I nearly destroyed all of your work. There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for what I did. I may have had my reasons. I may have had my mental break, but you all didn't deserve to be wrapped into that. You all didn't deserve to be dragged into my own personal life. And the fact that you were proves that I was never a good fit for you. I'm still proud of what we accomplished together on the project. I'm still proud that I got you all to this point, and I hope you guys go on to make the best revival project possible. Even though I don't want to be associated with it anymore, I hope to, all things pony, that you guys pull together the best project possible. Give the fans that closure, because they deserve the world. The project is ultimately worth more than me. It's worth a whole lot. And I hope you guys can make something out of it. I really hope you can. I'm sorry I wasn't able to. I'm sorry I let you all down and that I couldn't be better. But what's done is done. And I'm off to be on my own again.
And to the people who have been genuinely hurt throughout all this, I'm truly sorry. I really am. I hope my absence gives you peace. I hope the fact that this is all over gives you all the courage to move forward and just focus on making the project the best it can be. Because what I said was true. This project's not about me. It's about the cause we're all fighting for. And even though I gotta drop out of the running, well, that doesn't mean the legacy can't continue. And you guys are in charge of that legacy now. Cherish it. Hold on to it. It's yours forever. I hope that with this video, I've been able to explain my side of the whole thing and take full accountability for the things I did wrong. Because I never should have tried to delete the server. That was a severe lapse in my judgment and a sign that I had pushed myself too far. And I'm not sure if I want to do that again. If I come back here, if I come back to this channel to finish what I started, it'll be because I'm healed and that the drama is over. I've been advised not to engage with it. I've been advised not to engage anymore with this growing drama. I think the best thing for me really is to just semi-retire and just focus on finding happiness again. And if I ever want to try rebuilding the bridges I burnt, well, maybe one day. Maybe when I come back and I've been able to heal from what the project's done to me. Maybe. But as things are, I really have to move on. And I hope you guys can too. I'm taking this leave of absence because I've realized that I have to take responsibility for my own life. The things I left behind. And I want to grow into a better person. And I can't do that while being held back by not only drama, but by all the mistakes I've made and the impacts of them. This video is just so you guys could get to know me for the final time for a while now. Maybe we'll meet again. Maybe. I hope so. But for right now, I'm doing what's best for me. I'm choosing to live. Finally.
To close this long response off, all I can say is, well, it was fun while it lasted.